Hello, my name is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks.
And my name is James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James. Welcome to Lighting the Way, Granny Raps and Rocks. And by the way, I'm handling the chat tonight. Please do chat with us. We love hearing from you. And if you're here live in person, Beth will talk to you live in person.
So, tonight I'm going to talk about what do we do now? How we replace a stress with another stress. So, let's just get into it. I'll be announcing the topic again a little bit later because some people join us live after a while. So, for some reason, okay. I want to talk about something that I do quite a bit myself.
What would that be?
What it is as soon as something is resolved, I freak out. Like, let's say you've been working really hard to accomplish a certain goal, and you're trying to buy some musical instruments that you think are going to be great. And you get them, and then suddenly, once you get them and you can now focus on making music, somehow something else happens and you get very busy doing something else.
And by the way, we already have a comment. Tracy is here and she says hello and sends a heart of love and caring.
Oh,
Thank you, Tracy.
thank you, Tracy. So glad to see you. Or let's say we were thinking we were going to move. And so, there was so much. We're running around and thinking and looking at and then we finally decided we weren't moving. And then I realized that I needed to find something else to stress about. Or you finally, you make it your goal to get the guy. Now, a lot of people have seen this pattern, and they've seen it as something else. They'll say, well, we're never satisfied, or as soon as we get one thing, we want another, or something. But what I want to talk about...
And Elizabeth is here, and she says hi and sends a heart of love and caring.
Hi, Elizabeth. So happy to see you, too. Tonight I'm talking about, so what do I do now? How we replace an old stress with a new one, and why. So I've been giving, 2 examples. Or the children, finally, you get them married. Or you have the wedding, or something, that has been very stressful. And instead of relaxing, what do we tend to do? We tend to look for another stress. You think I'm kidding. I want you to think about it. Okay, let's say, we were stressing out about moving to San Diego. And that took up a lot of time and energy. And as soon as you move, something else. It's like, oh my God, now I have something else to stress about. Oh, the weather, the paint, the yard, the job, the something, And I'm going to tell you that I have noticed this in myself, and I've definitely noticed it in Sir James, haven't I?
Indeed.
You have noticed it too.
Over and over and over.
And we can say, it's because of this. But you know what I think it is? I think we're afraid of silence. So, for example, I was stressed out about the debate, right? How is it going to be?
You mean the presidential debate?
The presidential debate that we had last night. Okay, so...
In the USA.
In the USA. Well, people know we're in the USA. Thank you. So anyway, now the debate is over, and it went well. But there's something about it that I thought wasn't quite right, and so now then I started stressing out about that.
Oh, yeah.
And then I started stressing out about how undecided voters were feeling about it. And then I was stressing, then I didn't even know what I was stressing out about. All I know that is I couldn't just sit still and say, okay, well, that's over. Now what do I do? Oh, I'm going to go back to my garden, or I'm going to. Then I go to play music and my keyboard isn't working. So now, thank God, I can stress out about something else. And there is like this roiling that goes on in my gut. And I keep feeling like, oh my God, I need to do something. And why are we always looking at our cell phones? I mean, or at our iPads, or checking the news, or you're looking on YouTube. Or
I think you've got it right. We don't want to be in the silence.
we can't be in
It
the
feels
silence.
uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. What, I had a statement came to me a long time ago. I do aphorisms. In fact, I have a book called God's Little Aphorisms, and an aphorism is just like a saying that came to me from God, the universe, whatever the heck it is up there, higher consciousness, and it was, or maybe it wasn't in that book. Anyway, in the silence, I hear the source. Oh my God. In the silence, I hear the source. In other words, when I quiet everything down, I hear something. I hear something that is guiding me. And maybe that scares me. Maybe it says, change your life in this way, or change your inner space in some way. I don't want to hear. Or it may say, look at the way you're feeling. Look at the way you're behaving. Look how hysterical you are. Look how you're making up things to be upset about. How many of us can sit quietly? Now, some of us, we meditate. So, okay, I'm meditating now. Now I'm meditating on this. And oh, yes, I see myself floating above everything. I am now the queen of Siam. And I am rising up to the heavens, and I'm helping the world. Yes. Is that really what I got, or was I just like creating something
To fill the space.
to fill up the empty space? Or can I even do that? Or is like, my attention is constantly now. I suppose you could say we live in an ADHD world, or you could say that it's all the stimulation that we get. It is true. We do have an unnatural amount of stimulation. When we were kids, 100 years ago, there were newspapers. Believe it or not, they were actually paper.
When
And-
we were born, there wasn't even TV.
Oh, definitely. That's what I'm saying.
Just the radio.
Just the radio, and there were newspapers. The newspapers came out, if you were lucky, once a day. And that
Right.
was it. You saw the morning edition or the late edition, but most
you
of
wouldn't
us...
hear the rest of other news until the next day.
Oh, right. Not hear the news immediately?
Immediately?
Impossible.
Oh.
So, but I'm not trying to blame technology for this state of franticness. What I'm saying is something else. We produce something to be frantic about just because we can't sit with reality and face it. When we were running around trying to move, it was like, okay, everything was put on hold, and we were focused on moving, right? So we had a focus, a clear and present danger focus, right? And then what happened when the focus went away? We had to look at problems in our house. Oh my God, you mean we're not selling it anymore? we're not running away from this problem, or we had to look at problems in our relationships, or we had to look at what am I doing with my work and my life? Oh no, I might have to think about something. And it's amazing how many times we don't think about what we need to think about because we're so busy thinking about the things we don't need to think about. And then we're lost. I mean, there is a feeling of, I don't know, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Now, fortunately, if you have a job, you can go to the job and you can focus on the paperwork going in and out, or you can focus on, are people buying your product? Or, oh my God, I need to expand my YouTube channel. It looks like we have another.
Yes, we have another person saying hi. Todd is here, says hi. A little late here, but great topic.
Thank you. So, Todd, what I've been talking about, maybe you caught this last part, is that when we have a stressor and we make a decision or something happens and it quiets down, we have to look inside, look at ourselves, look at our life, and we're afraid. We don't want to. So instead, we create something else to obsess about. And we can see it, so many of us in our everyday lives, because we can't get off our cell phones or we can't get off social media, a constant distraction. And so we have to ask ourselves why we need so much distraction. And the reason that we need so much distraction is because we can't face ourselves, and we can't face our lives, and we can't face our responsibilities, and we can't face the problems with our health, and we can't face our relationship problems. I mean, let's say I'm so busy with this, I cannot look at what I'm doing to my health. Now, unless your health is your big stressor, well, then you can focus totally on your health, and then it's like, oh my God, I have a pain here, and I can watch every video on YouTube that has to do with my health. And when I'm doing that, am I looking at anything else in my life? Am I also thinking about other things that I'm neglecting now? Because I get micro-focused on the stressor of the day, or the week, or the month, or the moment.
I find that I divert myself even in the middle of a conversation. Like if we're trying to talk about what's going on with me.
Yes.
And we're processing, and we're trying to discover what that is.
Yes.
I'm very happy to divert the attention, the focus to something else I want to talk about. I do that a lot.
You do, don't you?
Yes, I do.
That's lovely. So I'd love for you, put it in the chat. If you have a favorite way of creating another stressor, let us know. And if you have an idea of why you do that, let us know that too. But remember, it has to be stressful, the new thing. Because if it isn't stressful, it's not going to grab your attention. Stress makes us crazy, and it can make us focused on one thing. I can't solve this problem. Oh my God, I'm trying to solve a problem on my computer. Well, the hell with the fact that the dogs need to be fed, or I'm not getting it and I really should call somebody tomorrow, or I really need to look at whether I actually even need to solve that problem. Do I need this? Is this something necessary? No, I just go off. It's like, oh, it sweeps me away. So we're not getting any comments yet from any of you. So, not yet, because, things are a little delayed. Sometimes, for instance, you leave a wonderful comment at the end of the show and we don't say anything because we've ended the show and then the comment comes on. So I wanted to tell you that. So, I want you to ask yourself, do you want to know yourself or not? And let's just quietly ask yourself that question. And I'm going to play. And if the answer yes came immediately, go back and ask again.
My first answer was, yeah, only the good parts.
Is that true that it's the good parts?
Well, on second thought, I realized that I benefit most if I explore fully what's going on inside.
Oh, absolutely. But when you say the good parts, what do you mean? I suggest you go
Some
back,
stuff
James.
that
You
fits
would.
my
That was
self-image,
way.
that's what.
I think that was too fast. I want you see. You immediately distracted yourself with an answer.
Yeah, immediately I thought, yeah.
You know,
that's my self-image.
somebody comes into counseling with me, and I ask them a very deep question, and they give me the answer that they've had a million times, or they've discussed in therapy 20 years ago, or whatever it is. And that's it. They've got the answer. Have they taken that moment to actually connect to themselves and look inside? Probably not. So I'm asking you, everyone, I'm going to play the piano for a minute, and take your time and don't distract yourself with an answer. Oh, here is a
Elizabeth
response.
says, I want to say yes, though I think it's really no.
I think you're right, Elizabeth.
Good one, Elizabeth.
Very good. So now, since we have you on the line here, thank you for volunteering. So I'd like you to ask yourself, why don't you want to know yourself? And do you understand what I mean about if you get frantic, if you get busy, if you get aggravated, if you're angry, if you have another project to do, whatever it is, or oh my God, I haven't done this, or who's going to win the election, whatever. There is just no time to connect to yourself, just no time at all. So I'd like you to look inside, Elizabeth, and everybody else who got to know, who didn't want to admit it, and ask yourself, why don't I want to know myself? And that's only the first question. Anybody? I had a thought when I was playing. Knowing myself might cause me more distress than being distracted by something external that causes me distress. And we have an answer from Elizabeth. Yay.
Elizabeth says, I don't want to really know myself because I may have to make a big change or changes in my life.
That's exactly right. We're habituated to the painful, stressful feelings we have all the time that we look for in order to distract us. But they don't threaten anything. They just make us miserable. If we listen, like I said, in the silence I hear the source. In other words, I hear my own inner wisdom. I may have to make a big change, or I may discover something that is shocking. But so what? I say, how wonderful. Like you were saying, James, people are afraid to find out something about themselves they don't like. Well, you don't like yourself anyway. You're pretending you like yourself, or you wouldn't be running around making yourself crazy, avoiding yourself. How can you love yourself if you're avoiding yourself?
You can't.
You can't. So take a deep breath right now. And I'm sending you some chi, and some of you feel it, and some of you won't, and that's fine. But it's there. It's like, take a deep breath and let this energy enter into you, even if you don't know what's happening. And look inside, and when you do, see something, anything. Let yourself see something. Put it in the chat if you like, either on YouTube or on Facebook. And what you see can be anything. It can be a porcupine. It can be a leaf. It can be a bed bug. But this is a practice. Don't judge it. Just let yourself be silent and see. We have an answer from someone.
Elizabeth says, an earthworm.
Earthworm. Marvelous. Mine was a spider. Isn't that funny? And I'm kind of afraid of them.
I saw the Grim Reaper.
Oh my God. And
Time of
Todd,
Judgment. Todd, I saw a reef.
wonderful. So whoever has identified something, whether you've shared it with us or not, and you know, a lot of people will watch this later. Now, just keep looking at it. The earthworm, the reef. What did you see,
The
James?
Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper. And just quietly watch it. Don't make anything happen. Just watch. Maybe nothing will happen, maybe something will happen. Just breathe. And share with us if you see something happening.
I see my Grim Reaper moving his blade back and forth, indicating that he's waiting for me, and that when the time comes, when the time is right, however much negative baggage I have, that is going to show up at that time.
For those of you who don't know that expression, the Grim Reaper is kind of a figure, a hooded figure with a sickle or something like that, and that figure represents death, I guess.
Death and also judgment.
Death and judgment. Very nice. I want to tell you what I saw. My spider was like on a string. And it was coming towards me. Okay, let's see.
Elizabeth says, I saw the earthworm split open and lots of spiders crawled out. These spiders went and made beautiful webs.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Oh, that's very cool.
Oh,
Very
my goodness. So my image was fear. It was a fear of that spider.
Mm-hmm.
Yours was fearful also, the Grim
Fearful
Reaper.
of being judged in the final judgment, you might say, upon death,
Mhm.
having judgment about how much negative baggage I have carried to that
And
point.
and with the earthworm splitting open and lots of spiders coming out and making beautiful webs, Elizabeth, it seems like you're reassuring yourself that out of this humble thing, there can be something that could look frightening to you, but actually makes beautiful things. And Todd
And
also.
Todd says, I saw a huge school of fish going through the coral reef.
And where were you, Todd? Were you in the school of fish or were you outside watching? So that would be very helpful.
Were you underwater or above the water? Looking at it from above.
Oh. So it looks like there is a certain detachment from everything that you're experiencing. So why don't you dive in and become one with the fish? And we have a comment from
Yes, from Katerina? Our Lady
Katusha.
Capricia.
Katusha. Mm-hmm.
Katisha. She's from Ukraine. Hello, Kiev welcomes you. We have political guests. We appreciate your help. And we are connected by your sublime music. Thank you.
For some reason, it got cut off
That
at
got
that
cut
point.
off. Oh, thank you.
Thank you,
thank
Katusha, or however you pronounce your name.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
We are connected by sublime music, and we're also connected because we are all the fish in the coral reef that Todd was talking about. We are all swimming.
Yes.
And Elizabeth, what is happening to your spiders and their webs? And what is happening to your Grim Reaper, James? Let's be just very quiet here and tell us what's happening. My spider that was coming towards me is starting to hug me in a loving way. That my fear of contact with things I don't know can be transformed into something which I appreciate. And by the way, while you are thinking about responding, let me just ask you to like or love this show on Facebook. It's really important because then Facebook thinks we're somebody. And on YouTube also, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube and push the notification button. Follow our page on Facebook, leave comments, and share this program if you think someone you know might enjoy or need it. So is there someone else who would like to see? Todd, did you get into the water and get away from, you're walking around with the protective snorkeling mask instead of trusting and jumping into the water and seeing that you too can swim underwater. And I'd love to hear what happened to Lizzie's spider webs, what they turned into. And James, what about you?
Oh, by the way, Todd does say in the water like snorkeling.
I know.
Oh, I didn't see that.
But he's snorkeling. He's above it.
No, when you're snorkeling, you're in the water.
but he's saying he's above it. He's with his
Mm-hmm.
oxygen. I'm saying he should
Oh,
join the
deeper
fish.
and
Yeah.
join
Okay.
the fish.
Would you stop correcting me and just go in and do
Oh,
yours?
okay.
Okay. Anybody else like to share what is happening with theirs? If you just, in the silence, if you watch, what do you see? Elizabeth, anyone else? Todd? So since we're not getting any responses here,
Well, I have one.
go ahead.
I'm getting a communication from the Grim Reaper that when you reach the end of this life, all of your negative energies that you have projected toward others will rebound upon you. And so you can minimize that by now taking action to dissolve those negative patterns and dissolve those negative energies and replace them with positive energies.
That's a very nice message. But what we can see from that is you're afraid to go inside to see flaws in yourself that you think you're going to get punished for.
Yeah.
And if you change that perception that this is about self-awareness, not about punishment, you might be more willing and able to jump in and look at yourself. And Elizabeth has...
Oh, Elizabeth says, the scene I saw of spiders' webs turned white. Then I saw one seed like a sunflower seed.
And is the seed in the web or is it separate from the web? See how quickly you can respond before we have to close. Well, we're not getting a response. It takes time sometimes. So,
Oh, she says
separate. Okay. So, I'd like you to go over to the seed and get inside. And when you get inside that seed and you look around, you will see an entire universe that you've never seen before. The seed of the universe, the origin of everything. Stars, animals, energies, colors, all within that seed. That we can all join together in that seed and be amazed. And James, I want you to tell the Grim Reaper, no.
No.
You're always making me afraid, and that's why I'm always distracting myself.
You're always making me afraid, and that's why I'm always distracting myself.
And I'm not listening anymore.
That's why I'm not listening anymore.
And I hope, Todd, that you've had the experience of really jumping in and becoming part of the fish and trusting that you will be able to breathe if you join them. Well, I can't believe that our time is up. I hope you enjoyed this. I feel a calm that I didn't feel before. I want you to keep in mind the things that I've said today and how we keep creating stress in order to distract ourselves from our fears, our concerns, and our needs to look within. And that we don't need to be afraid to look within because it's just information and it's not dangerous. And we're not going to die if we look at them. We're not going to be punished. We're going to learn. And so that's all we can do today. So thank you for joining us. And please don't forget to subscribe and follow us and like the show and share it with others if you think it can be helpful.
And then tomorrow night, please join us for Magical Improvs, where Beth and myself will both be improvising, she on piano, me on voice.
That's right. So
7 o'clock Thursday.
it's our
Pacific
music
time.
program, 7 o'clock Thursday. And come back next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. You never know what we're going to do.
Very good.
Peace.
Yes. Great